Can everyone say hi real quick so they know?
Hi.
There you go. Thank you. All right, get this guy set up. There we go. I stole this out of my truck. Oh, that's perfect. I got lucky. Can y'all hear me in the back? Okay. Does anyone know what I'm presenting on today?
Real estate.
Because I honestly don't. That's why I'm asking. I came, Dave and I talked about it, and came unscripted, kind of intentionally, because I wasn't sure what the audience was going to be like, and so we're going to kind of do a show of hands and see what you guys want me to talk about. I'll tell you a little bit about my experience and what I do and what I've done, and we'll kind of go where you guys want to go with it. So, mainly crypto folks, is that who's here?
Yeah.
Are there any real estate people here? Are there anyone that's both? Doing both? Okay, great. So a little bit about my background. I've been in real estate about 18 years. The main thing that I do now is I flip houses is the main thing I do, and I kind of say that loosely. Really what we do is affordable housing, okay? We invest that anything falls under the umbrella of affordable housing. Kind of how, you know, my background and where led me to this place was 17, 18 years ago. You know, broke as a joke, live in an apartment, had no money, read a couple books, said you could buy real estate with no money, which appealed to me because I had none. And so I figured that out, bought about 25 rentals in 2 years, working a full-time job, using a lot of creative stuff, and learned that the rentals were great, except that I hated them enjoyment-wise, and I needed more cash. So I said, I'm gonna flip houses, went out, flipped a house, lost a bunch of money, and like, shit, that didn't work out too well. And so I went back to the drawing board and said, you know, looked at everything I did wrong, which was basically everything, and said, okay, if I do this different, that different, there's about 6 or 7 things that I made mistakes on that were pretty substantial. Said if I do those things different, probably have a different result next time. So I made $60,000 in 60 days on my next flip, and that ultimately became what I call 7 fundamentals of real estate. So I've written a book on that, do teaching and coaching on that. And since that point in time, like built out a team, we still have rentals, we flip houses every month. Done a lot with owner finance notes. I love owner financing notes. We've bought mobile home parks, RV parks. We've got several large land development deals we're going on. And I enjoy teaching, speaking, and helping others. So what do you guys want me to talk about? Anybody? Help me out here. Show of hands. And I've raised a lot of money. We have one hand. Go for it.
Any advice from taking profits for the bull run to invest into real estate?
Yeah, okay. So that's what David, that's what I thought where this was gonna go. Okay, so I'll pull a little bit more. So are you guys mainly, collectively, are you looking for, you're making money with crypto, you want ways to put it in real estate safely, passively? Is that kind of an overall feel? Would y'all be happy if we kind of go in that direction with things?
Definitely part of
Okay.
it. I will say this, I'm curious to know, because obviously if you start with no money, you've got to be getting money. So maybe some encouragement too on
Yeah.
ways to get started and kind of leveraging income like that.
Sure. Okay. Let me think about how to package this. So over my single family career. So a couple things I want to say. If you're looking to move crypto earnings,
You go in there and
what's that?
Sorry.
If you want to move crypto earnings from crypto to real estate passively, I'm going to give you some ideas and things to look for and to avoid some pitfalls. And then before I go there, let me talk about how we do everything with no money. Okay, so probably what I speak the most about. So whenever I got into real estate, I had no money. So I was forced to learn how to do things without money. Forced to learn creative real estate strategies, learn how to raise money, how to negotiate deals better, all that kind of stuff by necessity. So literally to this day, when if I have a new coaching, student, for example, and let's say I've got 50 grand or 100 grand to invest. First thing I tell them is like, pretend you have zero. Let's start with zero and figure out how we can go get deals done that way. So it obviously includes or involves leverage, okay, which is raising money, and which is to steal from Kiyosaki, the number one skill set of an entrepreneur is the number one thing that you need to learn how to do. And then 1A is also know how to perform with the money that you raise. Because there's obviously a lot of that goes on in every market where people are just raising. And it started terrifying me years ago. I'm like, this is not going to end well for a lot of people. And it hasn't. So with that being said, if any of you are looking to get in real estate, I don't throw that around lightly, like go raise money and do this and this and that. I heard Grant Cardone say, we're not supposed to toot our own horn. Your mom said don't toot your own horn. Well, Grant toots his horn, quite a bit. And he said his mom told him, if you got a horn, why don't you toot it? And so I do toot my horn a little bit like this and say that, after 500 plus deals we've done, I've kept a perfect track record with my lenders. Okay, I don't say it to brag or boast, but a little bit I do, but also to say, if you're looking to invest with somebody, track record matters. And their business model matters. It's not like I'm some expert. It's that I had a really good, fun, sound model to follow. I had some really good mentoring and support to help me keep that track record. So that being said, 90% of deals that we do, we use 100% of other people's money on every deal that we do. I mean, we don't put any money into the deals. So people a lot of times like, well, I don't believe you. How could that be true? All that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, you don't have to believe me, but it's what we do. So number one, how we get 100% financing on our deals, number one is you have a good deal. Like it starts with you have to have a good deal and you have to have margins that an investor is going to be comfortable with and that you're comfortable with. And so it all starts there. So number one starts with the deal. Number two is the dude, it's the borrower. It's you being able to communicate that to your lender. So there's whole marketing things that you can do to attract private lenders. You got to be careful with SEC. We don't do much with online marketing. I wrote a book about the subject, so I have a lot of lenders reach out. There's ways that you can go about that, but that's the easiest part of the real estate game is the money. It really is. A lot of people don't believe that. That's the easiest part. But that's the simple way to put it. Okay. So, but we do, whether it be single family, rentals, mobile home parks, RV parks. We've bought 3 tracts of land that's close to 400 acres total. In the last couple of years, 100%, private capital. One of them, I take that back. I did a partnership with me and a friend. But the other, we raised all the money for that. Developing a subdivision, all private money. So it's very easy to do and it's doable. So that can kind of take us to, if you guys are looking to invest in real estate, are any of y'all looking to invest yourself, like go out and do deals? Or you would all be looking to do it passively? Or some of y'all don't even give 2 craps about real estate, which is fine.
Not until 2025.
What's that?
Not until 2025.
Wait a year on the sidelines. Gotcha.
When you say do deals, I mean, I guess you're saying more so from a standpoint of doing the deal to either make money then and there, right? So off of the deal, it's a good enough deal where there's money to be made at closing, or doing a deal as in rental income. Which one are you talking about?
Either way, just like you or your LLC, like you're personally going to go out and buy real estate yourself, individually, versus investing with like a syndicator doing a big deal. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm interested in buying some real estate, but not to like to hold.
Yeah, like flip, fix and flip, or wholesale, or something like.
Hold 15 years, whatever, like that kind of.
Oh, to buy and hold.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, I'm one of the, kind of in the arena of that there's probably never a bad time to do that if your cash on cash kind of makes sense, and you know that it's a sustainable deal, like your positive cash flow, and there's other numbers that work on it. I'm not a speculator, so everything that I do is in that sphere of affordable housing. Okay, so I don't go, and I define that typically median price house points and below. Median price housing and below is where we focus on. Very rarely do we go north of that.
Are you requiring or looking forward towards government assistance when you say affordable housing?
No, I'm
Or you just
not.
gonna keep it under that level?
Yeah, so that comes up a lot. I'll say affordable housing, people think, oh, you do Section 8.
Yeah.
And used to do a lot of Section 8. We don't do any Section 8 now. No, it just, affordable housing, when I say that, it's what your typical middle-class family can afford,
Yeah.
or lower, going into even lower income.
How much capital do you look to put into a property when you buy it? You want it, I mean, you'd like to have it in great shape.
Yeah,
But
so-
you're not gonna go put a new roof on it or new AC units and this and that unless you discount the price enough to cover that, plus a margin of contingency, et cetera.
Yeah, so his question is like, you know, I think is it a question about what kind of margins do we want at the end of the day when we're in the deal?
Well,
And-
eventually, but I'm just wondering, do you shy away from properties that are capital intensive after you buy them?
No.
You'll fix them up and
Yeah.
put them into shape.
Yeah,
and
we-
calculate all that in.
We turn shitty into pretty.
Okay.
That's one of our mottos, is the uglier typically the better. If my wife says that the property's cute, it's probably not a deal. It's another key indicator. No, we typically buy the distressed, dilapidated properties, but we buy them so that we can afford to put all those repairs in it and bring it to like new, and still have 25 to 30% equity in the deal.
Yeah.
Those are the quick numbers. How we define affordable housing though, median price housing and below, and that can go way low, all right? Meaning mobile home parks, RV parks, like some of our RV parks, we even like owner finance the RVs that people live in the RV parks. And that's about as low as we go, but it's pretty low. So we operate in that sphere for multiple reasons. So if you're looking to invest yourself, or you're looking to passively invest with somebody, you really want to look at their business model. So say for example, has a business model that's operating north of the median price housing point. So what you want to look for, obviously risks, rewards. A lot of lead investors, syndicators, you know, obviously they want to pitch all the rewards and the upside, which may be true. But Sam Zell, if y'all know who he is, used to say low risk and high reward. So my problem going north of that median housing price point is that you really don't have too many, if any, exit strategies other than one. And so if that one exit strategy doesn't work out, you're stuck like Chuck. Guess who's been stuck like Chuck a few times playing on that price point? And it's very painful, right? I took losses. My lenders were fine, but I took losses, I took hits. So I've just decided I'm not gonna play up there very often. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we do, but we pick and choose very strategically when we're gonna go there, we're not. I like median price housing and below. Why? Because we have options. We can flip them, we can rent them, we sell with owner financing, which I absolutely love. We could Airbnb them, or we could just flip them to another investor and wholesale them pretty quickly. So why all this is important is if you're looking to invest, or you're looking to invest with somebody, these are the things you need to understand. You know, what are the benefits, what are the pros and cons of this investment strategy versus, you know, high end or some other strategy that may kind of be a one-trick pony. And that's why, like, I'm not risk adverse, but I like to choose my risk wisely. So that's kind of why I do that. So when you start talking to investors, looking at different types of investment opportunities, those are the things you gotta look at. What's my risk versus reward? You know, once again, I really like low risk, right? Cause I'm fear-based like a lot of people, but I'm rational about it. And I want there to be at least a decent, if not a great upside potential, which could be short-term or it could be long-term, you know, could be long-term.
I have a relative who works at a oil refinery, and he buys houses specifically from school district tax rolls.
Yeah,
And gets them cheap.
yeah.
Just puts some lipstick on it, gets it going, and rents it out to somebody.
Yeah,
If they turn out to be a good renter, then he goes to them and says, how would you like to own this house?
Yeah.
Gets a handful of cash out of them, does seller financing.
Yeah.
And he's done that all his life.
It is
Cash
a
flows real well.
wonderful strategy. If you just do that strategy alone, you can do really, really well. So I have a story around that strategy. As a matter of fact, one of my best friends and now business partners for several years, we go back 15, 16 years. And I was, you know, mainly a rental guy and flipping and owner finance at that time. Those were my three main things. And I stumbled upon owner financing because I was doing a make-ready or having a make-ready done for one of my rentals. And it was it's very frustrating when you take a property back from a tenant and they just wreck it. And my painter was looking for a house, and I'm like, I'll sell this thing to you. You just gotta fix it up. And so, had no clue how to do it. We figured it out. He's been there for like the last 12 years. Hasn't paid off the loan, hasn't refinanced. I don't understand why. I still know the guy and work with the guy. I'm like, he doesn't refinance it. It's just fine with me. So I stumbled upon that strategy. I'm like, man, I really like this a lot better than rentals. So we do a lot of those. But anyway, so my friend and I, you know, we talk, meet every now and then. We used to meet and talk and about just deals and stuff like that. And he used to talk about doing some stuff with mobile homes, tax auctions, because he would go to the tax auctions every single month. He still does that. I don't want anything to do with the tax auctions. To me, it's a waste of time. It's too unpredictable. We do marketing. We wait for them to call us, right? That's how we like to operate. He likes to go out the tax auction. Doesn't cost it takes time, no money. That works for him, and he gets deals. He's really good at it. I'd rather spend a little bit of money and not spend time and get deals come to us. So he would tell me about these mobile home deals he's doing, and he's down in Alvin, Angleton area. Yeah, okay. And I'm not judging. I mean, my family's all rednecks, scoundrels, and whatever.
There's
But
a few
I'm
down there.
Oh, what's that?
There's a few down there.
Yeah, well, my family's all over the place, but I come from a long line of rednecks. And so he's telling me about his mobile homes and investing. I'm like, Dave's just old redneck. There ain't nothing to that. And he'd tell me another story, and I'm like, that's cute, these little mobile homes. I'm not gonna do that. And so after 2 or 3 years, he kept talking about mobile homes. And so I was like, tell me what you're doing with these mobile homes, all right? Because maybe I'm the fool here and I need to look closer. And so he told me his model. And so the basic model was he would go to a tax auction, buy a cheap piece of land, ideally a cheap piece of land with a mobile home on it, meaning a half acre, an acre, you could get for $10,000 or $15,000, if not cheaper, pretty easily. And then there would either be a mobile home on it, or you'd move a mobile home on it, maybe 15, 20 grand at the time. Be all in it for 30, maybe 40 if you do some utilities. And then you'd owner finance it for $85,000 to $95,000. They put $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 down, plus a 10 or 12% interest rate on top of that each and every month. Those numbers are pretty easy to determine, like that's a pretty good return, right?
Yeah.
And then occasionally you take the property back. It doesn't happen a lot, but they'll default, and then you just go do the same thing over and over again. So that's a strategy that works really well. So we do a lot of mobile home deals, mobile homes in parks, mobile home on land, all that kind of stuff.
But people are not really looking at the interest rate they're paying, they're looking more probably, what's my monthly?
Some of them do, but yeah, you're right. A lot of them don't. What's the monthly cost, you know? And there's other benefits to it. I mean, we charge origination points and fees on the mobile homes and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, honestly, like I I really enjoy that from the investment side of you, from a, like an enjoyment perspective. I just found out years ago, like I really don't, less tenants in my life is typically a better thing. Even if it's like a cheap old RV or mobile home, like typically people who are owners
Yeah.
and have a vested interest in that property and want some pride of ownership and to take care of it, and they've got skin in the game. And, you know, the American dream is to, you know, pursue freedom and happiness and have a home, damn it. And a lot of people can't afford a home, and that looks like a mobile home some days, you know, to some people, and to some it's an RV. And I'd rather help them have that opportunity than, you know, not all, and I'm not saying this against all tenants, I'm just I'm a little bit, once bitten, twice shy for my 80s folks in
Yep.
here, big hairband people. And, but it's just, there's a lot of headaches, you know, that involved in that business. And I still have rentals, but most of my rentals, when they come vacant, they automatically go to owner finance. Tenant wants to say 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, have tenant out for 15 years, great. They'll move out, we're gonna owner finance it and get a 10 to 12% return and not have to worry about repairs, maintenance, taxes, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Okay, what else? Go ahead.
How would you compare new residential construction development to flipping in terms of how much work you gotta put in, how much you're getting out of it?
Okay, good question. So the question is comparing new construction, residential construction to like a flip. So one, I hate new construction. Like that's not my thing. I've done it. Your risk is going up. Okay, so you break ground on new construction development or even just a single build. You know, if you were just like absolutely flying through it, you're 6 months, but you're probably 9 to 12 months typically, if not longer. Okay, one of our construction projects, we were held up over 6 months just on getting plans.
Yep.
There's a story behind that, but it's not that untypical. So one, your risk is going up immediately with new construction. You don't know what the market's gonna look like in 12 months from now. You don't know what interest rates are, you don't know what the COVID kind of crap and all this, like you really don't know. So your risk is already going through the roof. Okay, a single family flip, we can acquire those multiple deals each and every month, close on them the same month, and maybe be on market the next month. Okay, and when you really look at the returns, like say like if you're looking at like a 15% return, like very safe on a flip deal, that's real quick, fast and easy, versus an unknown with new construction, it's like, I don't like it. That's the reason I don't do it. There's too many variables in there that you can't determine, you can't factor in. And there's a reason like a lot of home builders turn into flippers.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of flippers turn into home builders. Probably a reason for that. Right, it's just, it's a risky game. I mean, there's definitely some upside, but it's just not a game I play, anymore. We do have one subdivision development. And when I say development, we have 54 lot subdivision of half-acre lots. We're bringing in mobile homes. That's our development right there. It's developing a trailer and hooking it up and dragging it in and dropping it in.
You put
That's
in
what-
utilities?
Yes, we're putting in utilities. There's
Water
actually
and
there's some public water
Okay.
there, so we're grateful for that. Electricity, but we do have to put a septic on each one.
Oh, actually.
I had a partner of mine years ago, who, his specialty really was building apartments. And he said, we're always, think of it as like an assembly line out here. You know, you're acquiring this, getting plans drawn, and then you're doing this, you get under construction, then it goes on for a while, then you start marketing your units, and you get it up, then you go through capital gains, period, and then it falls off, boom, you sold it, you know? But
Yeah.
something happens in this year and a half, 2 years, that always invariably leaves you caught with 3 different projects on that line. You're going, you know?
Yeah, you know,
It's a
I've
big
been asked
hiccup.
that question a lot, like, why didn't you do multifamily? And looking back, if I was smarter, I probably would have. I'm a pretty simple-minded guy, and I mean, I hated my job before I got into real estate. And I never had big aspirations of making a lot of money. I just wanted to quit my job and like enjoy life first. And if I could make some money doing it at the same time, being my own boss, I was gonna be very happy. So that's kind of how I started, and then I started, you know, becoming successful, and I started looking at multifamily. But I guess the risk adverse side of me was always afraid to do it, and we went under contract on some deals. But the thing with me was like, I knew, well, ultimately I didn't enjoy working with tenants, just like serving them. That's who you're really serving, was part of it. But two, back then, I was like, you know what, if I raise, you know, $1 million or $5 or $10 million and do this deal, and if it goes sideways, I didn't know if I could fix it. As a matter of fact, I was like, I'm pretty sure I can't fix that problem. Even if it's a non-recourse loan, and I didn't want to ever be in a situation where I couldn't repay my investors' capital back. So I kind of stayed small. You know, I'm like, hey, this thing works for me, that what I do in this single family side, so I kind of just stayed in my lane. Probably could have made a lot more money, to be honest, because when apartments were skyrocketing over the last, you know, probably it's kind of plateaued the last couple of years, but before that, 4 or 5 years before that, there was so much money to be made, and it was tempted. I'm just like, I think I'm gonna stay in my lane here. So a lot of those deals have gone sideways. I know some investors, and so that's where you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful, okay, when you're looking at these deals, right? There's just this uninformed optimism, right? Like, oh man, this is gonna be great. You know, like anytime you start a new business venture, you're excited, right? It's just like, it's uninformed optimism, because you don't know what you don't know. Even some of the syndicators may have good intentions, but they're all hyped up on you know, the potential of this deal, and a lot of them, they don't dig that deep into the what ifs. Like, they really don't. They spend and I'm judging, I'm casting a net, but they spend so much time like on marketing the deal and all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, are you really looking into this thing?
The key is knowing how to fix the problems.
Key is knowing how to
Inexpensively,
fix the problems.
Who to call, how to get it done.
But there's some
How to get
properties that I don't know any other way to say it, they have birth defects that can't be fixed.
Yeah.
And it starts with like how much capital that you raise. It doesn't start there, but they compound the problem with like look what they're dealing with now with these interest rates, right? These balloons are coming due. They're not fixing it, and you know, they're giving up these properties. So you have to really, like with any good business venture, is begin with the end in mind, go through all those scenarios that can happen. You got to forecast. You know, there's gonna be some bad things that happen over the course of time. I mean, I could sit here and I don't know how much time do I have?
You've got 4 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, I could tell you a lot of stories.
Well, quick
you know,
question on the
about
development thing. When you pulling a trailer on, are you buying a new trailer, or are you finding used trailers?
anything. Back to this point, almost anything new is unaffordable now.
Okay.
Right? Like business wise, like it is so difficult. That's the other thing with building. Builders aren't building a whole lot, if y'all have noticed that. So that's another reason, like buy and hold strategy. Like I don't like to, you know, project or whatever, like do whatever you want to do. But look at what's happening right now is that people are flooding, not literally flooding into our country, and our state from other states and other countries are all coming to Texas. We already have a housing shortage and builders aren't building very much. So like, it doesn't take a rocket. Yes.
To that point, I've been hearing some real estate people talking about repurposing commercial buildings like this and turning them into low-income homes or low-income housing.
There's probably opportunity there. I do a live every day. I did a live a couple of days ago. So opportunities everywhere at one of these mixed-use office shared things, the Cannon, if y'all have seen those. There is a lot of opportunity there, but pioneers have arrows in their back kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm probably not, you're not gonna see me doing a raise to convert probably anytime soon, but there are people already testing that theory, and I think it makes sense, really, I think it does. I think there's some complications with it, but it does make sense, because traditional commercial it's not dead, it's just changing. And the problem is people wanna do something that worked 10 years ago today, and it doesn't work that way.
Are there government funds being pulled
I'm
out for that
sure, I am sure.
purpose?
Yeah, I am sure. Yeah, I'm absolutely sure that. My wife texted me a picture. They're building the rent-to-own communities over by us, several of them. One of them, man, these houses are tiny. They're like 600 or 700 square feet. They are so small. Like, if you look and you're like,
Do you get
They're
a
like,
bedroom or a kitchen?
I haven't stepped in, and I think they're like an efficiency, but there's some nicer ones that are 2 and some are 3 bedrooms. They're like 24, I can look on my phone, $2,400 to $2,800 a month.
Wow.
The
From
big
renting.
funds out there right now have got the residential realtors dialing for dollars, calling everybody. Y'all probably gotten lots of phone calls.
Well-
And that's the reason why, is because they've got all this money over here that's wanting to go into residential neighborhoods, you know,
Yes.
that are stable. They're just trying to place funds in there. In some cases, they own half of the neighborhood.
Yeah, I got a call the other day, from a lady, and, she said, you know, she's like, hey, we're looking for, you know, owners of large portfolios to buy. You have to have 100+ doors. And she's working, you know, with a group from another country. And, you know, I'm like, I wouldn't sell to someone from another country. I would only sell to American. I didn't really say that.
Yeah.
But she was like, they have about 2 million to deploy pretty soon. I'm like, I will change my policy on that. Let's talk. Yeah. So yeah, there is a lot of that where the big funds, the big groups, other countries are coming in to buy this real estate, and this isn't new. So I started literally bumping in to hedge funds back in 2010. When I had I didn't know what a hedge fund was back then. I bumped into a guy at a property, and we became friends, and I learned about that space. This is nothing new, but it's just gotten much bigger. Cash flow is getting so much harder, much more difficult. They're going to real estate, so they're gonna deplete what it is now, because they're driving up the cost so high for a tiny little bit of yield.
Yeah.
So it's like even the opportunity that we have is going away. Like, it is.
My house has just gone crazy. I'm retired, and so everything's kind of stable,
Yeah.
you know?
But where are you gonna
if it
move if you
runs
sell it?
around, I'm not gonna sell it.
Yeah, but if you do, like, where are you gonna go?
Yeah.
I do have an RV park with some RVs, you know, like, that's what it is for people though.
Yeah.
Like, we've had people that have downsized to like a mobile home or an RV. That's what it is. I think I'm out of time?
Yeah.
Okay, thank y'all very much.
Thank you.